Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Arrow Season 7. So we have Comic-Con in only a handful of days, which is of course very exciting. Now people have been asking when exactly the panel for Arrow Season 7 is, and I will tell you that now. The Arrow panel is on Saturday the 21st of July. It will begin at 4:15 PM or 4:15 in the afternoon and go until around 5 PM. Now it is important to remember that this is San Diego time, as the San Diego Comic-Con is in, well, for all the geniuses that figured it out, congratulations, it's in San Diego. So best to use Google to figure out that time, or what time that is for you, depending on where you live. And another reminder, they do not live stream these panels, so if you want to, stay up to date as to, the information that gets released at these panels, or for when the trailer is going to come out, best to just be on Twitter and paying attention there. But obviously, I will be releasing a video straight after they release the trailer for Arrow Season 7 on my channel, so you may as well just look out for that one. But as you would expect, moving into Comic-Con, we have some information and news and interviews coming out about the upcoming season as production steams ahead, and along with that, we have a lot of hype building. So what we are going to be going over in today's video is an interview with the new executive producer or showrunner of Arrow, that being Beth Schwartz, as well as some brand new information regarding episode 2 for this season, which is pretty exciting. But first, we will go over that interview from Beth Schwartz. Now, I am not too sure where this interview is from. I think it's from EW, or maybe MTV, one of the two, as I was sent these screenshots through my Discord, but without an actual source for where they came from. But it's from a magazine of some sort, we know that. But essentially, I will just repeat what is said in the magazine article, which of course, includes quotes from Beth Schwartz. But this is how this magazine starts off. Oliver Queen is a hero throughout and through. On the 6th season finale, he revealed himself to be Vigilante Green Arrow and surrendered to the FBI in order to keep the rest of his squad from facing criminal charges. But with crime lord Ricardo Diaz still on the loose, what does that mean for Star City's finest? Showrunner Beth Schwartz gives us some hints. But here is the first question, I guess you would call it, that is brought up. Ricardo is at large. Uh-oh. For the first time, the show's big bad wasn't vanquished in the finale, which means the mobster is sticking around and, per the showrunner, is furious about Oliver's attack on his gang. When we see him again, he is not going to be very happy. He'll definitely be out for blood, says Schwartz. In regards to Diaz being back for this season, as most of you would know, I like the idea of him sticking around and carrying on, the build-up and setup from last season in not only his own story, but also with other characters like Oliver, but also mainly Black Siren. I would be surprised if he made it past the halfway point of this season though, but as always, I'm willing to be surprised and sort of want to be surprised. But here is the next question in the article. So maybe it's a good thing Oliver is behind bars for his vigilante crimes. Not so much. Prison isn't great for Oliver Queen. It's not going to go well, says Schwartz, teasing that we'll see some of the people that he's put in prison over the past 6 seasons. And yeah, I have to agree here. I really don't think Oliver is going to be having that great of a time in prison. I'm sure he will be getting in some, daily prison yard scuffles and fights, and I'm sure there will be a few attempts to take his life in, well, an act of revenge. Why wasn't Oliver sent to Iron Heights? Instead of doing time in the Arrowverse's go-to penitentiary, the unmasked good guys behind bars in what Schwartz calls the brutal slab-side maximum security prison. Adds Schwartz, we wanted to up the stakes and see a new prison that was filled with a little more dangerous type of people. Now recently in another video I did bring up the issue about Oliver not going to Iron Heights, somewhere which we are all familiar with, and him being sent to Slabside, which had only been mentioned once in the entire run of the rest of the Arrowverse, and that was in a flashback during Season 4 of Arrow. But I think if Oliver was in Iron Heights, it would be a bit too similar and familiar to past storylines and events in the Arrowverse. Having Oliver be in Slabside just opens up a completely new environment that is not only mysterious, but also dangerous in regards or for Oliver. How is Felicity handling the fact that her husband is locked up? Most likely with her usual pluck and resilience. Everyone on the team will be in a different place than you would expect when the show returns, says Schwartz. They're all going to have different reactions to Oliver being in prison and what their responsibilities are now. For me personally, I think it would have been good for Felicity that, during the break where Oliver has been in prison, that she has devoted her time to something outside of Team Arrow, that being Helix Dynamics with Curtis, maybe, if their relationship's going okay. Along with now also being like a single stepmother, which would be pretty random for her, a bit weird for her, and just a bit of a shock in general. And also, with the others on the show, I think we should just assume that, new Team Arrow, along with Diggle as well, most likely, have just been dealing with the crime in Star City, as you would expect. I guess the big question is whether Diggle is out there as Green Arrow, or he is just out there as Spartan. As we know, Diggle did, have a Green Arrow suit at the end of Season 6. We'll just have to wait and see if he is donning it at the beginning of Season 7, because we're not too sure if it's just like, maybe there's going to be one episode, maybe like episode 4, where Diggle wears it, or it's what he's been wearing the whole break. Because if you think about it with Diggle, Oliver was just locked up for being Green Arrow. He's just admitted on TV that he is Green Arrow. And then during this break, there's a new Green Arrow running around. Like, you know what I mean? So maybe Diggle won't be donning it, but we'll just have to wait and see. Thea just left town with Roy, so how is Roy coming back without her? Schwartz promises viewers will learn early on why the two aren't together. We'll also see Roy, aka the former vigilante Arsenal, being a hero in a different sort of way, she says. So this has actually been something that heaps of people have been asking, like, how the hell is Roy coming back, but Thea Queen isn't? Now, some might think that what is said here means that Roy and Thea have broken up, but from what I'm getting, it just seems that there is another non-relationship based reason that Roy and Thea aren't in the same city, and why Roy is like coming back by himself. It could be for the sake of protecting Thea, maybe Roy had to protect wherever they were and Thea had to leave, or maybe them being separate is what is actually protecting Thea. I'm sure as soon as Roy appears this season, we'll get an explanation around this, as Beth was saying. Hopefully it's not just in passing. Hopefully, they make it clear to everyone watching what's going on. Just so the constant question of like, where's Thea, isn't constantly asked throughout the entire season. I am actually very intrigued to see what is meant by Beth when she says that Roy is being a hero in a different sort of way. Like, what does that mean? I'm actually intrigued to see what they mean by that, because some people were saying that maybe Roy will come back this season and not actually be Arsenal, like he might just be Roy. Look, I don't mind if they give Roy a storyline where he is just Roy. However, I think we all want to see him, donning up as Arsenal again, because that's just awesome having Green Arrow and Arsenal together. So, yeah. That's what I would like to see. Maybe being a hero in a different sort of way has to do with maybe helping Oliver out. That might have something to do with it. We'll have to wait and see. How will Lance's death impact Earth 2's Laurel? The demise of her father's Earth 1 counterpart is a huge story point going forward, Schwartz reveals. She will try to live up to the Laurel Lance legacy to make him proud, but her alter ego, Black Siren, has her craving vengeance. So as most of you would know who are regulars to my Arrow videos, Black Siren's story is one of the most appealing storylines for Arrow Season 7, as I thought Black Siren was pretty damn awesome last season when she was given focus on the show. And I think we all know who Black Siren will be targeting when it comes to, getting vengeance. Yeah, Ricardo Diaz. But here is the last question in this interview with Beth. Can original Team Arrow and new Team Arrow please get along? Oliver, Felicity, and Diggle spent much of the season battling disgruntled dropouts Dinah, Curtis, and Renee. Fans were not about it, and the writers heard our sighs. Come fall, vows Schwartz, there is not going to be a divide. So at least we won't be getting any more of that extremely forced drama and conflict, which in some cases last season was okay and tolerable and added to the story in parts, I guess. But for a large majority of it, it was just boring and repetitive and just... not good. And then it also transferred over to just OTA, original Team Arrow, with Diggle, Felicity, and Oliver, where they were fighting, and it wasn't good. It was just not good to watch. It wasn't good television. You can't really debate that it was good. And the last thing to go over in this video actually has to do with episode 2 for this season of Arrow, not episode 1. A lot of that stuff was for episode 1 that we just went over, but this is specifically for episode 2, and that is because we actually got the title for that episode. So the title for season 7, episode 2 of Arrow is actually Longbow Hunters. So this obviously is going to be the episode in which the Longbow Hunters are introduced or are just heavily focused on. They could easily be introduced in episode 1, but I think they were just, really focused on our good characters for most of the episode, catch up on what the hell Oliver's doing and what everyone else outside of Team Arrow, or within Team Arrow but outside of prison is doing. And then maybe at the end, shift focus to the bad character side of the show, which could then lead into this second episode. So maybe towards the end of episode 1, we see Ricardo Diaz maybe, and then maybe the Longbow Hunters lined up or something. Obviously, we don't know who is going to be a part of these Longbow Hunters on Arrow. We just know that they are a bunch of assassins and I guess mercenaries, so they are nothing to take lightly. You would expect that maybe new Team Arrow would be the ones that would run into the Longbow Hunters in this episode and maybe get smashed, as you would hope that Oliver isn't out of prison in episode 2. I think we want him in prison for a bit longer. Not too long, but, you know, longer than episode 2. But I am hoping for a, you know, varied range of skills across the Longbow Hunters. Let's hope they aren't all the same type of character and fighter. And, you know, there's just a bit of diversity, I guess, in regards to their skills. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show your support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on what we went over in this video. What do you think of the various things that Beth went over in that, you know, in that interview stuff? And what are your thoughts on the Longbow Hunter, or Longbow Hunters, might I say, being the title for episode 2 of season 7? Just leave all of those opinions in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.